Hello, Canvas of Ages viewers. History isn't just about the stories of kings and wars. Today, we're traveling back in time to take a look at the lives, or rather, the homes, of the most ordinary people in medieval Europe, the peasants. Although they're often depicted in popular imagination as tiny little huts, medieval peasant homes were actually quite different from what we might imagine. But how were these homes built? Where did the peasants set up their homes? And most importantly, what kind of life did they lead? The answers to all these questions await you in this video. If you're ready, let's set off on a journey through the dusty roads of the Middle Ages.
Maybe this year. That way. The master's new swineherd's cottage is being built there.
If you were a peasant in the Middle Ages, you couldn't build your house however you pleased. A lord who owned the land would typically tell you where to build your house through his representative. Lords wanted more families to live on their lands, produce more food, and pay more taxes. For this reason, new villages were established and populated. The location of your home depended on the layout of the village. Was it a settlement where farms were scattered, or a village where houses were clustered together? The ideal spot was one close to the land you worked on, or the location of your trade. If you were a blacksmith's apprentice, it was best to build your home near the blacksmith's forge. Water sources were also of vital importance. Access to a well or a stream was crucial. Building a house in the Middle Ages was a surprisingly labor-intensive task and a rather costly investment. Of course, the quality of your home depended on how wealthy you were and what materials were readily available in your area. Most village homes were built to be of poor quality and not very durable. The foundations of the simplest houses consisted of support posts driven directly into the ground. If the wall posts were set on flat stone slabs to prevent rot, these houses could last for about 50 years. The framework of a hut was usually made of poor quality, thin posts, since the lord reserved the best timber for himself. The most commonly used material for the walls of rural homes was wood. The most common wall building method was known as wattle and daub. In this method, tree branches were woven together and both sides were plastered with a mixture of earth, chopped straw, and manure. If available, chalk or lime was also added to the mixture. This method minimized drafts but required constant maintenance. Building a roof was just as difficult as building walls. They typically used straw, known as saws. After the harvest, when the corn stalks became brittle, they were cut and used for the roof. The roof frame was constructed at an angle of 40 to 55 degrees to ensure proper water drainage. The roofs were highly flammable and served as nesting places for mice, bees, and spiders. Medieval peasant homes were small and usually consisted of a single room. Homes. Some homes were divided into two sections, one for people and the other for animals. Animals were brought inside, especially on cold nights. Floor. The floor was usually made of compacted earth or clay. Wealthier households would lay rushes or straw on the floor for comfort and warmth. Heating and smoke. Houses had no chimneys. A fire was lit in a central hearth, and the smoke escaped through holes cut into the roof. However, these holes were insufficient, and the inside of the house remained constantly smoky. Windows. The poor had no glass windows. Even in single-window homes, the windows were closed at night with wooden shutters for security and warmth. Some single-room homes had no windows at all. Furniture. Peasant furniture has not survived to the present day. However, documents mention a few stools, a chest for a bed, and a few pots. Life for medieval villagers was hard and arduous. Their homes were simple and flimsy, and always at risk of fire. Despite this, these people found creative and practical solutions to survive. The next time you watch a medieval film, remember these simple yet resilient lives behind the scenes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. See you on new adventures. Take care.